We go through life trusting our own eyes. If you can see it, touch it, and interact with it, it must be real. But to reach level 1 of philosophical understanding, we have to imagine a dark subterranean cave where prisoners have been chained to a wall since birth. Behind these prisoners burns a fire. People walk between the fire and the prisoners, carrying objects that cast shifting shadows against the stone wall. Having never seen anything else, the prisoners mistake these silhouettes for reality. To them, the moving shadow of a book is the book itself. Plato used this story to expose a disturbing flaw in human perception. The sensory information we rely on every day, colors, sounds, textures, exists solely as electrical signals interpreted by our brains. We never actually experience the world directly. We only experience our mind's interpretation of it. Reaching the first level of philosophical awareness requires admitting a difficult truth. Our lived experience is just an appearance. Our senses are easily deceived, meaning our eyes alone cannot serve as objective proof of the world around us. If our senses are unreliable narrators, the next logical step is to wonder if anything we perceive exists at all. If you can hallucinate a shadow, you could theoretically hallucinate the entire universe. The philosopher René Descartes tried to find a single, undeniable truth by systematically doubting everything, even his own physical body. He realized that the very act of doubting required a mind to do the doubting. His conclusion, "I think, therefore I am," established that the only verifiable truth is the existence of the thinking self. While this guarantees you exist, it creates a terrifying isolation known as solipsism. You can prove your own internal consciousness, but you cannot definitively prove the existence of other people, physical objects, or an external reality. Everyone you have ever met could simply be a projection of your own mind. At level 25, we hit an ontological trap. We have secured our own consciousness, but we have completely severed our verifiable connection to the outside world. The mind is entirely alone. Descartes worried that a malevolent demon might be feeding him a false reality. Today, we have replaced demons with technology. The simulation hypothesis asks whether the physical universe is actually a highly advanced computer program. Philosopher Nick Bostrom notes that if a civilization continues to advance, it will eventually possess the computing power to create incredibly realistic simulated worlds. These simulations would be populated by conscious beings completely unaware of their artificial nature. If a civilization can build simulations, they would run billions of them. This creates one base reality surrounded by countless digital copies. Because simulated inhabitants vastly outnumber real ones, the odds we occupy base reality approach zero. We almost certainly exist inside a machine. By level 50, our trust in a physical universe is replaced by mathematical probability. The environment you navigate every day is highly likely to be an artificial construct, but let's assume we are in base reality. Even then, the solid objects we interact with are linguistic illusions, an idea known as mereological nihilism. According to this view, composite structures like cars or planets do not truly exist. There are only fundamental particles arranged in temporary patterns. What we call a table is just a convenient label for a localized cluster of atoms. Consider the ship of Theseus. If you gradually swap out a ship's planks until every part is replaced, is it the same ship? This applies to biology. Your body's cells constantly regenerate. The physical you from a decade ago literally no longer exists. Reaching level 75 means accepting that permanent reality is a fiction. Both the physical environment and our own bodies are just temporary arrangements of matter, held together by nothing more than the limits of human language. We have dismantled our senses, the external world, and the physical matter composing our bodies. To reach the absolute peak of the philosophical tech tree, level 100, we have to question the timeline of existence itself. The Austrian physicist Ludwig Boltzmann studied entropy and randomness. He noted that over an infinite expanse of time and space, random thermal fluctuations in the void will eventually produce complex structures entirely by chance. Statistically, it takes an unfathomable amount of time and ordered energy to evolve a 14 billion-year-old universe full of galaxies, stars, and life. It takes far less energy for a single, fully formed human brain to spontaneously materialize out of cosmic dust. The mathematical implication is staggering. It is far more likely that you are a disembodied brain floating in a chaotic void, possessing false memories of a life you never actually lived. The act of watching this video could be the momentary hallucination of a mind that popped into existence 3 seconds ago and will dissolve 3 seconds from now. This is total ontological shock. Level 100 philosophy destroys the external world, dissolves our physical bodies, and finally erases the validity of our own past. How do we logically fight back against this ultimate level of doubt? We try to find absolute proof of reality, but we run headfirst into a roadblock called the Munchausen trilemma. This logical flowchart illustrates why absolute certainty is impossible. Justifying knowledge leads to 3 dead ends: an infinite regress where every proof requires another, circular reasoning where an argument justifies itself, or a blind assumption where you just declare something true. Absolute certainty is mathematically and logically unreachable. The philosopher Albert Camus recognized this tension, our deep human desire for meaning in a universe that remains completely silent. He called this the absurd, and argued that the only authentic response is to stop searching for external validation. The collapse of reality is not a curse. When we accept that we cannot prove the existence of the universe, our bodies, or our past, we are no longer bound by a predetermined script. We are finally liberated, free to create our own meaning and shape our own purpose within the beautiful chaos of the void.